And looking back, this is the moment that I realized that my experiment had started to go sideways. Bestie, pick up. Final World Cup dispatch from the emotional front lines. I can't believe it's over. It's like we spent 39 days on an emotional treadmill and someone just yanked the emergency off. I feel like I've just hit a wall. The funny thing is, I actually came into this World Cup with a plan. Not to become a football fan. Absolutely not. This was research, cultural anthropology. I wanted to understand why this tournament makes otherwise perfectly normal people speak in prophecy and superstition. I thought if I spent 5 weeks paying attention, I'd finally understand why people cared without becoming one of them. Okay, so more on that in a second because I promised you a dispatch. The final week of the World Cup was where we reached a point in the tournament where soccer stopped pretending it was just a sport. Because somehow the World Cup became the Super Bowl, the Met Gala, the Olympics, a United Nations meeting, a family reunion, and Twitter's longest Thanksgiving dinner. Apparently, all at the same time. But the strangest part, I don't actually know if I will be the same after this World Cup. Because by the end of the final, I realized the World Cup had been teaching me the wrong lesson this entire time. But first, I need to tell you about the exact moment I realized there's no going back. Okay, I'm losing daylight, but I feel a flu coming on, and I pop some ibuprofen, and we're gonna do this. So if I start fading to black, just pretend it's for dramatic effect. Okay, first of all, for the final, I dragged my husband out to be social because he insisted that he was cool just watching it back at the hotel. And I'm like, are you crazy? And also, do you know what kind of monster you created? And that was my first clue. Well, apparently, every sports bar in town had been completely booked, like you needed reservations, or they weren't playing the match at all. Which honestly feels like the perfect summary of soccer in America right now. Either it's someone's entire personality, or they have absolutely no idea that it's even happening. Anyway, so by some miracle, we snagged the last seats in this adorable little seafood shack. The ladies next to us were retirement age, absolutely delightful. Like one of them kept taking selfies to send to her Spanish friend. Okay, so they said that they had been following the whole thing, but they didn't really know what was going on and they were just here for the vibes. Love them. Okay. And then the questions started. Wait, who's that? No, why wasn't that a goal? Why did he get kicked out? And I, without even thinking, answered them immediately, correctly. No hesitation. Girlfriend coded. Like within 30 seconds, my husband leaned back toward the TV because he realized I got it. Wait, I had become the soccer bestie. Like in real life. Nobody was more surprised than me. I have no idea when this happened. And frankly, I'd like to file an appeal. And looking back, this is the moment that I realized that my experiment had started to go sideways. Because somewhere between explaining stoppage time to complete strangers, yelling at hot referees, developing entirely irrational opinions about players I've known for all of 3 weeks, and checking scores that didn't even involve the United States, I had crossed an invisible line that I didn't even know existed. It gets worse, but first, the opening ceremony started. And Jennifer Hudson reintroduced us to our national anthem. Wow. On that final note, Susan next to me just goes, glass shattering. And I just went, apparently not. And then things got a little quiet between us for a minute. But real quick, Can we discuss the fact that the World Cup final suddenly became the world's most expensive celebrity brunch in history? I mean, they flashed to the stands and I genuinely lost track. Timothy and Kylie, Sofia Vergara, Farrell and Pharrell, the Queen of America, and the King. At one point, I genuinely couldn't tell if I was watching the World Cup or finally glimpsing the TNT wedding reception. And while all of this is happening and, the sportsing commenced, something else already started to happen. Club football started creeping back into the room. And this is where I realized something terrifying. The World Cup wasn't ending, it was handing me homework. Because all around me, I heard things like, "That's Miami's problem now. That's our Liverpool boy. Madrid better bring him back in bubble wrap." Babe, I'm beginning to understand that international football might just be 6 weeks of clubs lending their players out to countries before demanding them back emotionally damaged. I finally realized countries borrow footballers, clubs raise them. And apparently, some of these World Cup storylines are about to get real awkward when everybody returns to work in a few days. So, yeah, because unlike other sports, soccer has no clean endings. It just changes jerseys.
It's dog walking the clock. It's dog walking the clock. Hello, puppy dogs. Please clean up your poop. Yes, hello. Goodbye.
Anyway, then there was the halftime show. And I can't believe I am saying that. Like, soccer had its first halftime show ever. And I don't mean my girl crush Rebecca Lowe running circles around her co host, I mean spectacle. So naturally, Americans looked at it and went, obviously. Meanwhile, the rest of the football world collectively went, what fresh capitalist nightmare is this? Because Americans think sporting events are entertainment with a game in the middle. Football fans think the match is the entertainment. Everything else is just politely waiting for the ball to come back. Watching those two cultures meet at midfield was genuinely like the funniest thing I'd seen all tournament. It's like Americans keep asking, how can we make soccer bigger? Football fans keep replying, have you tried the football? 3 weeks ago, I would have agreed with America, but now I'm not so sure. Meanwhile, the football somehow got even more emotional because Spain's strategy appeared to be collecting shots on goal. Argentina's strategy appeared to be collecting criminal charges. And one of those strategies worked significantly better. Yeah. I'm not going to break down the game because one, that's not what we do here. And two, we already know England France was my World Cup final. Whew. England France, cinema. England Argentina, cinema. England Mexico, cinema. I'm beginning to just think England is emotionally flammable. I relate. And yes, we all watched Messi standing there after the final, taking it all in one last time, tears in his eyes. And it felt less like losing a match and more like watching someone close the last chapter of a book that we had all been reading together. While his teammates did whatever the opposite of that is. Then, the trophy went up, the confetti fell, everybody smiled for the cameras, and nothing else happened after that. Okay, fine. That's not true. Our president wasn't done making us the laughing stock of the football world, but we'd already left, so I didn't have to witness Schmeigel refuse to let go of the gold. Or the crowd's reaction. Apparently, national anthems, trombones. International anthem, Trump booze. Which means we managed to squeeze in one final global argument into the tournament before everyone went home. Not to mention, the football world accused America of Americanizing the World Cup. Hydration breaks, military flyovers, a halftime show, championship rings? To which I can only say, yeah. And just when I thought, okay, that was nuts. Everybody go home now. What do I do with my personality now? No. Apparently, the World Cup has downloadable content. Because after the trophy lift came the memes, the think pieces, the conspiracy theories, the investigations. The internet immediately remembered it has opinions. But weirdly, I do too. Which brings me to the strangest thing that happened this summer. It wasn't Messi winning. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Spain winning, or Messi crying, or conspiracy theories, or halftime shows. It was me. 5 weeks ago, I thought that sports were just something that happened in the background, something men did to avoid putting away the laundry. But the World Cup showed me something that I hadn't noticed before. Sports are one of the last places where complete strangers still get to feel something together. There, I said it. Joy, heartbreak, hope, outrage, relief, vengeance, all in real time, together, all at once. And for me, by the final, these didn't feel like faceless countries anymore. They felt like Cody, Lamine, Vozinha, Mbappe, Holland, the Tartan Army, the Norwegian Vikings, the Algerians in Kansas, the retirement ladies at the seafood shack. Somewhere along the way, flags quietly became people. And I think that's what the World Cup actually is. 48 countries pretending to play football while secretly introducing the world to one another. Because I came into this tournament thinking I needed to learn the rules. But this wasn't about understanding sport. It was about understanding why people love it, which is deeply inconvenient to the brand. This brings me to the part that is honestly making me a little nervous. Because surely this was just the World Cup, right? I mean, people who don't even watch soccer watch the World Cup. You know, for the national pride and the celebrities and the chaos and the once in a generation atmosphere, the vibes, so that's normal, right? Like, this was just an insane summer fling, and we'll all go back to not caring, right? Surely I can go back now. I can go back to making fun of these men, right? I can go back to not knowing what the Premier League table is and right? And I can go back to watching just for the highlights, right? I can go back to complaining that this steals my husband's weekends, right? Or do I have to admit that my World Cup experiment failed? Because somewhere along the way, I stopped trying to understand sportsing and I started caring about it. I thought the experiment was, can I understand why everybody loves this thing without becoming one of them? Turns out, understanding and caring are a lot closer together than I predicted. So, we begin the post World Cup era. Apparently, our World Cup crushes are going back to their day jobs, and, we gotta check up on them, right? For research, obviously. Bestie, if you accidentally caught feelings too, welcome to Unhinged United. There is so much more coming. I mean, I haven't even told you about the crazy thing I did 2 weeks ago. And if you're wondering why I now have emotions about an island nation and a guy named Cody Gakpo and a suspicious strand of Croatian hair and a Belgian national account, that is a much longer story. Actually, it is approximately 3 previous dispatches. Because together they accidentally became a diary of what it felt like to live through this World Cup. As an American, as a casual, that's my story. Because it turns out the rules were never the hard part. The feelings were. Love you, bye. Wait, as of the recording of this video, we are 3 subscribers away from 500, which is crazy because I started this World Cup with 22. I just want to say thank you so much. Unhinged United, you're finally becoming a reality. I love you so much. I'm so glad you're here. I have so much fun planned for us. Love you. Bye.